When the outdated tactics get left behind, I think it's time we stop. Marketers look around when your ranking's going down.
Ann and I are going to talk about no follows, user generated content, and sponsored link attributes.
Recently introduced. It's been like 1 year, I guess, right? And people do not still know what to think about that. That was a very interesting announcement from Google when they said, from now on, no follow is not strictly observed. We will be just using it as we want, and you will never know what we're doing with it. So basically, that was the announcement. But if you want to be more specific, you can also add rel sponsored and rel user generated content, which I guess Google can also use as they want. So they may still be using those links as part of their algorithm for link equity, or they can just ignore them. We don't know.
Yeah.
Or they may just use it as more information about other similar links from that site.
I'd say with, no followed links in my eyes are kind of doesn't count as link value. However, I believe there certainly is value of, like, for example, people coming from the Wikipedia to your site might send a nice signal, even if it's not the official link signal. So where you get your traffic from, if you got a whole boatload of traffic from, I don't know, the New York Times, and your link was no followed, there may not be the official link value, but I would bet that there's some kind of value of Google being like, oh, a highly trusted site is sending a lot of traffic to your site, or a lot of that's coveted. There might be other values. But things like user generated content, I guess what that's like blog comment stuff, or links and other wiki sites, or wherever you could submit a link to, Reddit.
Or
Yeah, pretty much. I don't think they've had any value at all for links. When we have one of our team that does a lot of brand promotions, and they're trying to have stuff go viral, and they separate, we're looking at a lot of stuff. Here's your traffic, here's your all these social signals, all these other signals, any write-ups, blah, blah, blah. Kind of a big report. And one section of that report is, here are your non-earned links, and here are your earned links. And the non-earned links is just what we call them internally. They're like places that we submitted something to that in our eyes really don't, Google probably doesn't count any of that. There's submittal places. We're just trying to get it seen. We're not out for the link. We're trying to get our thing in front of a lot of eyes. But then if someone writes about, our thing that they saw, and, gives it a link, then we call that an earned link. Someone found it through some of our promotion and wrote about it. That's an earned link. We didn't submit this to anything. So I think those are earned links. The sponsored link attribute, just no follow them. Why spend the time to sponsor, to rate sponsor? I don't know. Google's I don't
know if anyone is using that, really.
Yeah, there's probably not enough people using it for Google to really do anything with it. And what are they going to do with it? Like, isn't just a no follow is fine. Like, they're not going to penalize you for calling a link no followed and not putting sponsored on it. So it's like, why take the extra step to write any of that? User generated link no follow, or sponsors.
I'm all with you on that. I think that Google, I don't see anyone, or at least enough publishers, using those two extra attributes for Google to drive any algorithmic conclusions on those websites, the links. Even no follow was so hard to get into this blogosphere or publisher-sphere community that it took years for that attribute to be adopted enough for Google to be able to use it, really. And now, when that almost happened, they somehow come around and say, hey, now it's not nofollow and it's not that strict anymore because we can still use it. We can still use those backlinks and crawl them and whatever. And there are two more.
Yeah. And then Google's saying as well that, you know, we may completely ignore the nofollow and count it anyways, which, you know, is interesting. And I think at one point there was an example that someone said of, like, you know, if you're a major news site and your policy is nofollow everything, and they're like, hey, we know some of that stuff is trusted, they may count it. Wikipedia.